Your soulmate and the second person, one hidden truth is about to change everything. My beloved child, listen carefully because you did not arrive at this message by accident, and the questions that have been moving through your heart deserve to be handled with wisdom rather than fear. You may have been sensing that something is happening behind the scenes between your soulmate and another person. You may have noticed distance, unusual silence, changed behavior, confusing communication, or a sudden emotional shift that you cannot explain. Perhaps you have felt that there is a second person somewhere in this story, someone who has entered the space that you once believed belonged to you. Perhaps you have seen something that made your heart drop. Perhaps you have heard something from someone else. Perhaps you have simply felt a change that you could not put into words. My beloved child, before you allow your imagination to turn uncertainty into pain, take a breath and remember that truth and assumption are not the same thing. You deserve the truth, but you do not have to destroy your peace while waiting for it. There may indeed be something hidden that needs to come to light, but the most important revelation may not be about the second person at all. It may be about what your soulmate truly wants, what they have been afraid to admit, and what you are finally willing to accept in your own life. My beloved child, there are times when people create complicated situations because they are unable to make simple emotional decisions. Instead of speaking honestly, they delay. Instead of confronting their feelings, they distract themselves. Instead of ending one connection clearly before beginning another, they leave doors open. This creates confusion for everyone involved. A second person can enter not because the first connection had no meaning, but because someone lacked the courage or maturity to handle their emotions properly. This does not excuse dishonesty, but it can explain why the situation feels so complicated. Your soulmate may have been trying to escape an emotional truth. They may have believed that getting closer to someone else would make their feelings for you disappear. They may have told themselves that they had moved on. They may have attempted to create a new identity around another relationship. Yet the heart does not always obey the plans of the mind. Memories can return. Emotions can return. Regret can return. Questions can return. And when they do, a person must eventually decide whether to continue hiding or finally become honest. My beloved child, perhaps your soulmate has been living inside that conflict. On the outside, they may appear to be moving forward. They may appear comfortable with another person. They may act as though everything is settled. But inside, there may be unresolved questions. They may wonder whether they made the right choice. They may remember you when they least expect it. They may compare the emotional connection they have now with what they experienced with you. They may remember how deeply you understood them. They may remember conversations that felt effortless. They may remember moments when they could be themselves around you. They may remember the way you cared when they were struggling. They may remember the things you noticed that other people overlooked. My beloved child, memories are not proof of destiny, and they are not a promise of reunion, but they can reveal that emotional chapters are sometimes more complicated than they appear. What matters is what someone does with those feelings. A person can remember you and still choose not to return. A person can miss you and still remain with another person. A person can regret their actions and still not be ready to repair the damage. This is why I want you to focus less on hidden feelings and more on visible choices. My beloved child, the hidden truth that may change everything could be a conversation. It could be an admission. It could be a realization. It could be a moment when your soulmate finally acknowledges what they have been avoiding. But do not sit in fear waiting for a dramatic revelation. The purpose of truth is not to make you anxious. The purpose of truth is to give you freedom. If the truth reveals that your soulmate genuinely wants another person, then you deserve to know so that you can release the situation with dignity. If the truth reveals that your soulmate still has deep feelings for you, then they must demonstrate those feelings with responsible action. Either way, truth serves you because it removes uncertainty. My beloved child, you have spent too much time trying to interpret every small signal. You may have looked at their online activity, their photographs, their messages, their silence, their likes, their sudden appearances, and their disappearances. You may have asked friends what they think. You may have created theories about what the second person means to them. But the more you investigate without clear information, the more your mind fills the empty spaces with fear. You deserve better than living inside imagined scenarios. If you do not know something, allow yourself to say, "I do not know." That sentence can be incredibly peaceful. You do not have to know what they are doing every minute. You do not have to know what they are thinking every night. You do not have to know whether they miss you today. Your life can continue even while some answers remain unknown. My beloved child, perhaps you are afraid that the second person has something you do not have. Maybe you compare their appearance, personality, lifestyle, confidence, money, social status, or the attention they receive. Stop. Comparison is a trap. You are not required to defeat another person to be worthy of love. Another person may have qualities that are different from yours, but that does not make them superior. You are unique. Your experiences shaped you. Your heart shaped you. Your way of caring shaped you. Your imperfections shaped you. There is no replacement for your exact presence. But remember, being unique does not mean someone is obligated to choose you. Love must remain a free choice. That is why your focus should be on mutuality rather than competition. You want someone who chooses you freely, clearly, and consistently. You do not want someone who chooses you only after another relationship fails. You do not want to be someone's backup plan. You do not want to be the person they contact only when they are lonely. My beloved child, you deserve to be chosen because someone recognizes the value of building a life with you. If your soulmate returns, you should be able to ask what has changed. What did they learn? What do they want now? Are they prepared to communicate honestly? Are they prepared to close old doors before opening a new one? Are they prepared to take responsibility for the pain they caused? These are not unreasonable questions. These are healthy questions. My beloved child, love does not require you to stop thinking. Love should not make you abandon wisdom. If someone says, "I love you," but their actions continue to create chaos, you have permission to observe the actions. Words matter, but actions reveal patterns. Someone can say they miss you and still not be ready for a relationship. Someone can say they regret everything and still repeat the same behavior. Someone can say you are special and still treat you as an option. Do not build your future on words alone. watch what happens over time. My beloved child, there is a difference between a genuine return and an emotional relapse. A genuine return involves accountability, consistency, and a willingness to build something healthier. An emotional relapse happens when someone misses familiarity and reaches back without changing anything. If your soulmate comes back because they are lonely, you may become trapped in the same cycle. If they return because they genuinely understand what they want and are prepared to act differently, then the situation deserves careful consideration. This is why patience protects you. Do not rush simply because your heart has been waiting. Give the situation enough time to reveal whether it is real. My beloved child, perhaps the second person has been used as an escape. Perhaps your soulmate entered that connection because it required less emotional vulnerability. Maybe they could avoid difficult conversations. Maybe they could pretend they were starting fresh. But eventually, unresolved emotions tend to surface. A new person cannot automatically erase an old emotional pattern. A new relationship cannot automatically heal old wounds. A new connection cannot automatically make someone emotionally mature. People carry themselves wherever they go. If your soulmate has not confronted their fears, they will eventually carry those fears into the next relationship. My beloved child, this is why you should not spend your energy trying to make the second relationship fail. You do not need to manipulate circumstances. You do not need to create jealousy. You do not need to expose secrets publicly. You do not need to compete. If the relationship is unstable, its own weaknesses will reveal themselves. If it is healthy and genuine, you must respect that reality and protect your heart. Either way, your path is not dependent on controlling them. My beloved child, you may have been tempted to send one more message, make one more call, ask one more question, or create one more opportunity for your soulmate to notice you. Before doing so, ask yourself whether you are reaching out from love or fear. Are you communicating because there is something healthy to say, or because you are afraid they will forget you? Are you expressing yourself because you genuinely want clarity, or because you need immediate reassurance? If fear is driving you, pause. You do not need to act from panic. Let your emotions settle. Your strongest decisions are rarely made in the middle of emotional storms. My beloved child, the hidden truth may eventually arrive through a simple moment. Sometimes a person finally says what they have been holding inside because they can no longer maintain the contradiction. They may tell you that they were confused. They may admit that they tried to move on but could not. They may acknowledge that another person entered their life while their feelings for you remained unresolved. They may confess that they were afraid of what your connection meant. They may reveal that they made a choice based on circumstances rather than emotional truth. If that happens, listen without immediately surrendering your boundaries. Their honesty can be appreciated without automatically restoring trust. Trust must be rebuilt through behavior. My beloved child, if your soulmate tells you that they never stop thinking about you, ask yourself whether their current actions support that statement. If they say they want you, are they prepared to make the difficult decisions required to be with you? If they say they regret losing you, are they willing to repair the damage? If they say they have changed, can they demonstrate that change consistently? You do not need to interrogate them endlessly. Simply observe. Time is an excellent revealer. My beloved child, perhaps the most unexpected part of this story is that the second person may not be your real obstacle. Your real obstacle may be your soulmate's fear. Fear of commitment. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of rejection. Fear of losing freedom. Fear of being hurt. Fear of making the wrong decision. Fear of admitting they were wrong. Fear can make people behave in ways that seem cruel or irrational. They may push away the person they love because closeness makes them feel exposed. They may choose someone else because the relationship feels easier. They may create distance because they do not know how to handle emotional intensity. But my beloved child, fear may explain behavior, but it does not excuse harm. At some point, adults must take responsibility for the impact of their choices. You cannot carry that responsibility for them. My beloved child, perhaps you have been trying to heal while still hoping. That is possible. You do not have to force yourself to stop caring overnight. Healing is not pretending you never loved them. Healing is learning to carry your feelings without allowing them to control your decisions. You can say, I still care about this person, but I will not chase them. You can say, I still hope for clarity, but I will not destroy my peace waiting. You can say, I would welcome healthy love, but I will not accept confusion as a substitute. These statements are not cold. They are strong. My beloved child, your heart is not foolish because it loved deeply. Your hope is not weakness. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. But your love must have boundaries. A heart without boundaries becomes exhausted. A heart with healthy boundaries can remain open without becoming trapped. This is the balance you are learning now. My beloved child, there may be moments when your soulmate appears to move farther away. Do not panic. Distance can reveal things that closeness hides. When people are always together, they can avoid thinking deeply. Separation sometimes creates space for reflection. Your soulmate may begin to see their choices differently when the excitement of a new relationship settles. They may begin to recognize what they lost. They may begin to notice that something is missing. They may realize that a connection cannot be replaced simply by finding another person. But again, my beloved child, let their realization be theirs. You do not need to force it. You do not need to remind them of you. Let your absence have its natural meaning. My beloved child, perhaps you have wondered whether you should wait for your soulmate. My answer is simple: do not put your life on hold. You can remain open without waiting. There is a difference. Waiting says, nothing can happen until they return. Being open says, if they return with healthy intentions, I will consider the situation, but I will continue living my life. Choose openness rather than waiting. Continue your work. Continue your goals. Continue your friendships. Continue your creativity. Continue taking care of your body and mind. Continue building your future. Your soulmate is not your entire existence. They are one part of your emotional story, not the author of your entire life. My beloved child, you may eventually reach a moment when you no longer feel the same urgency. You may notice that you can think about them without your heart collapsing. You may see their name without immediately checking for hidden meaning. You may hear a song connected to them and simply remember rather than suffer. That is healing. Do not mistake healing for losing love. Sometimes healing simply means love is no longer controlling you. My beloved child, if a hidden truth emerges, you will be able to face it more clearly because you have built inner strength. If the truth is beautiful, you will appreciate it without desperation. If the truth is painful, you will survive it without losing yourself. Either way, you become stronger. That is why this season matters. My beloved child, perhaps the second person is temporary. Perhaps they are not. Perhaps your soulmate is genuinely choosing them. Perhaps your soulmate is confused. Perhaps your soulmate is hiding feelings. There are many possibilities, and you do not need to choose one prematurely. Stay grounded. Let reality reveal itself. The more you accept uncertainty, the less power uncertainty has over you. My beloved child, there is no need to punish yourself for loving someone who became confused. You did not cause every choice they made. You cannot control another person's emotional maturity. You cannot force someone to communicate. You cannot make someone loyal. You cannot make someone brave. What you can do is decide whether their behavior meets your standards. That is where your power lives. My beloved child, perhaps this hidden truth will reveal that your soulmate has been carrying regret. Regret can make a person quiet. They may avoid contacting you because they do not know what to say. They may fear rejection. They may feel ashamed. They may wonder whether you would forgive them. They may believe that too much damage has been done. But if they truly want to repair things, they will eventually need to move beyond fear. You cannot do it for them. You cannot send the perfect message that removes all consequences. They must take responsibility. My beloved child, if they return with an apology, listen to the apology but look for accountability. A real apology does not only say, "I am sorry." It also says, "I understand what I did, I understand how it affected you, and I am prepared to behave differently." That difference matters. Anyone can feel regret. Real change requires discipline. My beloved child, you may also discover that you have been carrying blame that does not belong to you. Maybe you thought, if I had been more attractive, they would not have chosen someone else. Maybe you thought, if I had called more, they would have stayed. Maybe you thought, if I had been more patient, they would have chosen me. Stop carrying those thoughts. Relationships are not mathematical equations where one missing quality causes someone to leave. People make choices based on their own internal worlds. Do not rewrite your identity to explain someone else's behavior. My beloved child, you are allowed to be imperfect and still worthy of love. You are allowed to have flaws and still deserve respect. You are allowed to have difficult days and still deserve consistency. You are allowed to be yourself without constantly auditioning for someone's affection. If someone requires you to become a completely different person to keep them, then they are not loving the real you. My beloved child, there may come a day when your soulmate realizes that the second person did not solve what they thought it would solve. Perhaps they were trying to fill a void. Perhaps they were trying to escape loneliness. Perhaps they were trying to prove something to themselves. When the distraction fades, the underlying emotional truth can become louder. They may begin to understand that what they truly needed was not another person but honesty with themselves. And perhaps that realization brings them back toward you. But if it does, make sure they are returning because they have grown, not merely because another option disappeared. My beloved child, you deserve to be someone's clear decision, not their emergency choice. Remember that. You deserve someone who can say, "I choose you," without keeping another person waiting in the background. You deserve someone who does not make you compete for basic respect. You deserve someone who can communicate when things become difficult instead of disappearing. You deserve someone who can admit when they are wrong. You deserve someone who sees love as a responsibility as well as a feeling. My beloved child, the truth that changes everything may therefore be this: you are changing your definition of love. You are no longer satisfied with chemistry without consistency. You are no longer satisfied with intense moments followed by silence. You are no longer satisfied with words without action. You are no longer satisfied with being someone's secret. You want a love that can exist in the light. A love that can be discussed openly. A love that can survive difficult conversations. A love that can grow through honesty. This new standard will change the people you allow into your life. My beloved child, if your soulmate rises to that standard, there may be something worth exploring. If they do not, then you will know that the connection, no matter how intense, cannot provide the relationship you deserve. And knowing that is